The bakery was busy that afternoon, full of laughter, chatter, and the sweet smell of fresh cream and sugar. But amidst the cheerful chaos stood a man whose world seemed to be quietly falling apart. His clothes were neat but worn, his hands rough and trembling slightly as he gripped a small wallet. The bakery clerk looked up from the counter and frowned softly. "Sir, are you sure you want to cancel the order?" The man swallowed hard, forcing a shaky smile. "Yes, I'm sorry, my daughter will understand." What no one noticed was that a woman, dressed in a sharp navy suit, stood near the corner, watching the scene unfold. That woman was none other than Clara Evans, CEO of one of the city's largest food corporations. And what she saw that day would not only change the life of that struggling father and his little girl, but hers as well. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because stories like this one remind us that kindness can come from the most unexpected places. Ethan Lewis was a single father of one, a gentle man in his mid-30s who once had dreams bigger than the city itself. But dreams didn't always pay the bills. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier after a long illness, leaving him with their daughter, Lily, a bright-eyed 7-year-old who adored drawing, baking, and dressing her stuffed animals for tea parties. Ethan worked as a delivery driver, often pulling double shifts to keep up with rent and groceries. This month had been especially hard. The company he worked for had cut back hours, and after paying for school supplies and utilities, he barely had enough left for food. But he had promised Lily a birthday cake, her favorite, chocolate with strawberries, something small yet special. He'd saved up a little each week for that cake. But that morning, his car broke down on the way to work. The repairs cost everything he had left. So there he was at the bakery, his heart heavy as he canceled his daughter's only birthday treat. "I'm really sorry," he told the cashier softly. It was supposed to be a surprise for her. The young woman behind the counter smiled sympathetically, but Ethan could see the pity in her eyes. He thanked her and turned to leave. That's when Clara, standing in line nearby, called out, "Excuse me, sir?" Ethan paused, embarrassed, assuming she needed to get past him. "Oh, sorry, I'll move," but she shook her head. "Is it your daughter's birthday today?" He hesitated, unsure why a stranger would care. "Tomorrow. But it's okay, kids don't need much to be happy." There was something in his voice, a mix of resignation and love that struck Clara deeply. She had grown up poor herself, raised by a mother who worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. And despite her immense success now, she still remembered what it felt like to see her mother cry quietly over unpaid bills. Clara smiled. "What kind of cake was it?" Ethan blinked, confused. "Chocolate, with strawberries." "Good taste," she said. Then she turned to the cashier. "Please keep his order. Add a few cupcakes and balloons to the package. Put it on my tab." Ethan's eyes widened. "Wait, no ma'am, you don't have to." Clara interrupted softly. "I know I don't, but I want to." He didn't know what to say. His pride wrestled with gratitude, but the image of Lily's hopeful little face made his decision for him. "Thank you," he murmured, voice thick with emotion. "You have no idea what this means." Clara smiled gently. "Maybe one day you can pay it forward. That's how kindness works." The next afternoon, Ethan arrived home with the cake box in hand. When Lily saw it, her face lit up with pure joy. "Daddy, you remembered," she squealed, wrapping her arms around him. "I'd never forget, sweetheart," he whispered, fighting back tears. They celebrated in their tiny apartment, just the two of them, a flickering candle on a cake that looked far too beautiful for their humble kitchen. Lily giggled, her cheeks smudged with chocolate frosting, and for a moment, all of Ethan's struggles faded away. But the story didn't end there. 2 weeks later, Ethan was delivering food packages to a corporate office downtown. When he entered the building, he immediately recognized the elegant woman who had bought his daughter's cake. "Clara Evans." "Mr. Lewis?" she said, recognizing him too. "What a surprise." He smiled nervously. "I guess this city's smaller than I thought." They chatted briefly, and Clara learned more about his situation. His late wife, his long hours, his struggle to make ends meet. What struck her most was his humility. Despite everything, he never once complained. After he left, Clara couldn't shake the thought of him and his daughter. That evening, she called her HR department. "We're starting a new initiative," she said. "I want to create a community hiring program for single parents. Flexible hours, childcare support, fair pay." Her team was stunned. No CEO had ever proposed something so personal. But Clara was determined. Within a month, the Second Chance program launched. It offered jobs to struggling single parents, along with mentorship and resources to help them rebuild their lives. When Ethan received the job offer, he could hardly believe it. "Ma'am, I'm not sure I'm qualified for this," he told her when she called him personally. Clara smiled. "You're qualified because you never gave up. That's what I need on my team." Months passed, and Ethan excelled in his new role in logistics management. His dedication and honesty earned respect throughout the company. Lily began attending a better school, and for the first time in years, Ethan could afford to dream again. One evening, as the company held its annual charity gala, Clara invited Ethan and Lily to attend. The event was glamorous, full of polished guests and flashing cameras, a world far removed from where Ethan had once been. When Clara took the stage to give her speech, she looked out over the crowd and smiled. "Success," she began, "is not about how high you climb, but about how many people you lift along the way." Then, turning toward Ethan and Lily, she added, "A few months ago, I met a man who reminded me what true strength looks like. A father who gave up everything to make his daughter smile. His story inspired a program that's already changed hundreds of lives. Please, give a round of applause to Ethan Lewis." The room erupted with applause. Ethan stood there stunned, while little Lily clapped her hands proudly beside him. His eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but gratitude. When the applause died down, Clara stepped off the stage and whispered to him, "You see? Kindness circles back." Years later, Ethan would often tell Lily this story whenever she doubted herself. By then, she was a confident young woman, studying business and community leadership, inspired by the very woman who had once bought her a cake. And every year, on her birthday, they would bake a chocolate cake with strawberries together, lighting one extra candle for the stranger who became their angel. Kindness doesn't need wealth, power, or fame. It only needs a heart willing to care. One small act can ripple across lives, creating hope where it once seemed impossible. So if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it, because the world always needs more stories that remind us of the good that still exists.